We're here with Wes Shivers from the Ultimate Fighter 10, and Wes, you just had a very tough fight against James McSweeney. Well, not just had it, but a few months ago you had it. Tell me what that was like. The first round, it looked like you were doing very well, and then his leg kick started taking over, and you guys gave it your all, man.
Yeah. I mean, I think conditioning, just like everybody say, I think it played a big factor in that fight. I came out with a great game plan, just as did he. It's just later in the fight, my gas tank was getting empty, and it was a little hard for me to, push the pace and put the pressure on like I needed to. Not to mention the fact that I had a couple of submission attempts and takedowns and all that. When you get a guy early in a fight in a submission attempt and it doesn't work out in your favor and ends up standing back up, it kind of that mentally drains you. When you feel like you're fixing to end the fight and then you don't, it's kind of a letdown mentally. And
how much of your strength does it sap from you? Because I know you got to put your all when you go for a choke or anything.
Well, strength-wise, I mean, it just depends on how much you put into it. It's kind of like when I had him in the rear naked choke. I knew I didn't have it sunk, so instead of trying to sit there and overpower him to force the submission, I let it go to keep from gassing myself out any worse. The first submission, I felt like I had the Kimura sunk, pretty good when I went to finish it off. He just so happened to roll his shoulder out and take the pressure off, and botched my attempt. But mentally, it's draining more than anything. Because that's on your mind. It's ways, man, I about had the fight finished 2 minutes into it, and here I am, continuing to fight.
So it's more of a mental thing, like I had him.
Yeah, definitely. But fighting's 99% mental anyway. You go into a fight, and we can be in the greatest shape of your life, but if you're not there mentally, it's not going to do anything for you. So. And
you talked about the effects of the leg kicks, where you thought they weren't going to do the kind of damage they did, and then later on you said that wow, it was a different scenario than you thought.
I knew he had good kicks, and I knew that he would be landing some. My only problem was that I focused more on accepting the leg kicks and countering instead of trying to check the leg kicks. And as time went on, his game plan being to set up, strike, and retreat, work out in his favor, because the minute he threw the leg kick and I'd counter, he was always, fleeing as I was punching. And it's kind of put me on the offensive as trying to chase him down. And after a while, I got to where I couldn't do that. I was too gassed. And so later, I guess probably second round, a couple minutes in the second round, when it really started landing some kicks. I mean, you could see during the fight that it started mentally weighing on me. Physically, it was it was exhausting. You couldn't put the pressure on the foot. All your focus is towards that leg and try to protect it. But at that point in time, you can't do it.
How do you keep going when you know your leg's gone and you kept going to the second round? A lot of people thought maybe there should have been a third round, and to survive that,
I feel like that we should have, and the coaches questioned whether if it went to a third, if I wanted to fight. I came to fight, and that's the thing about it is, even though I was gassed and I was tired, there's no question where my heart's at. I'm a fighter, and I always will be. To quit just wasn't an option. He could stand there and keep me till I was fighting on one leg, and I'd still been in there. They would have had to stop it. With that being said,
so despite just being totally out of gas and your leg hurting, there was no way you were stopping. You kept going.
No, I wasn't going to stop, and I was going to do anything possible. Just like at the end of the fight, I took him down. He had me in a guillotine choke for probably 15, 20 seconds. Everybody was saying the whole time that I was fixing to pass out or get choked, or tap. But that wasn't an option either. I knew that I was going to get my head out, and hopefully I'd be in control and enough time to, to score some points at the end of the fight. And that's what happened. It's just when I got out, I was so exhausted and tired, and that I couldn't do any damage. It was just basically want to score points, and obviously it didn't make up for what he had done earlier in the round. So
well, that was a valiant effort in defeat. I know everybody I saw the show with was like. Wow, let's see that again.
Yeah, I was watching it live the other night. Well, when it was aired was probably the first time I'd seen it. You know, I didn't remember a whole lot about it. I can remember being tired, and I remember the leg kicks and so forth, but I didn't know, how my performance was. And watching it, I was real pleased with myself, other than the fact that I got tired.
Yeah.
And looking at it, James got tired too. I mean, you always get tired.
Yeah.
But I felt like we both of us gave it our best effort, even though we were tired. We did our best at every point in time to score points and to win the fight. I wasn't going to give it to him, and he wasn't going to give it to me, and it was obvious. I mean, it was put in the judge's hands, and that's where it was left. So
The last thing I want to hit on, obviously everybody's been talking about Kimbo. It's a big reason why you guys are getting even more attention than usual. He brought a lot of different viewers to the table.
that's right.
He's finally going to fight. At this point, are you tired of hearing about him? Is he somebody that won you over?
No,
what do you think?
Man, Kimbo was a blessing. It was a blessing for me to get to meet the guy. When you see how somebody's portrayed in the media, on television, computers, or anything, and to get to, and it puts a bad taste in your mouth towards them, and then to really get to know them and know their personality and how they are and what they're all about, and it's completely opposite from what you'd expected. I mean, because me personally, I go through the same thing. A lot of people don't want to take the time or have the energy to get to know me. I mean, they just say, "Well, you're a fighter, you're a big guy." I'm straight up, I'm a jerk. I bully this and that, and that's far from me. I'm the most humble guy, easy to get along with, and one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. And that's kind of how Kimbo was. Kimbo puts up a wall, and puts up a wall because he's. I guess you probably get tired of having to defend yourself. You get tired of hearing the criticism and so forth. So you put the wall up to keep people out. So what? You finally say, well, screw it. If that's what you want to think about me thinking. I am who I am. I'm not going to change that, and I'm not going to change it for you. And if you don't want to take the time and energy to get to know me and just assume things, I mean, that's fine. You has no control over that. Getting to know Kimbo was, a great deal. I mean, the guy is totally different from what you've ever seen. He's a good, humble, honest, hard-working guy. Raises 4 kids by himself. He fights just like everybody else because he loves it and it pays his bills.
Well, it's good to hear that, and I know how the show, we can't talk about the future or anything like that, but I hope maybe somehow you get back in the mix. So good luck, and hopefully we'll see you again in the UFC, man.
I feel pretty confident you will.
All right, thanks.